Have you ever found yourself constantly checking your phone, waiting for someone to reply, trying harder to keep someone interested, giving more and more of yourself, hoping they'll finally choose you? The more you chase, the further they often seem to drift away, leaving you feeling depleted and confused. It's a common human experience, this yearning for connection, this desire to hold on to what we cherish. But what if the path to true peace and genuine connection lies not in holding tighter, but in learning to let go? What if the profound wisdom of ancient traditions, particularly Buddhism, offers us a liberating perspective on relationships and the nature of attachment? Today, we're going to explore a powerful, yet often challenging, concept. If someone wants to leave, let them. This isn't about indifference or giving up on love. Instead, it's an invitation to understand the deeper currents of existence, to cultivate inner strength, and to find freedom from the suffering that arises when we cling to what is inherently impermanent. It's about recognizing our own worth, respecting the autonomy of others, and embracing the flow of life with an open heart. From a Buddhist perspective, much of our suffering, or dukkha, stems from attachment. We become attached to people, to outcomes, to ideas, to possessions, believing that these external things are essential for our happiness. When these things inevitably change or depart, we experience pain. This isn't because change is inherently bad, but because our resistance to it, our clinging, creates a deep sense of loss and unease. The Buddha taught about anicca, the principle of impermanence. Everything in this universe is constantly changing, evolving, and transforming. Nothing remains the same, not even for a moment. Our bodies change, our thoughts change, the seasons change, and yes, our relationships change. To expect a relationship to remain static, to be exactly as it was yesterday or a year ago, is to fight against the very nature of reality. When we understand and accept impermanence, we begin to see that holding on to people or situations that are naturally moving away from us is like trying to grasp water. The harder we try, the more it slips through our fingers, and the more exhausted we become. Consider the analogy of a river. A river flows continuously. If you try to hold on to a particular drop of water, it's impossible. That drop is part of a larger current, moving onward. Similarly, people are like rivers, constantly flowing and changing. Their paths may converge with ours for a time, creating beautiful shared experiences, but their individual currents are always moving. When someone's path diverges from ours, it's not a personal failing, but often a natural unfolding of their own journey. This brings us to the concept of anatta, or non-self. In Buddhism, the idea of a fixed, unchanging self is questioned. We are not static entities. We are a collection of experiences, thoughts, feelings, and perceptions, constantly interacting with the world. When we define ourselves solely through our relationships, I am so-and-so's partner, I am this person's friend, we create a fragile sense of self that is dependent on external validation. If that relationship ends, our sense of self can feel shattered. However, if we cultivate an understanding of anatta, we realize that our true essence is not dependent on anyone else's presence or absence. Our worth is intrinsic. We are complete and whole within ourselves. This doesn't mean we don't value relationships. It means we approach them from a place of wholeness, rather than a place of neediness or incompleteness. When someone chooses to leave, it doesn't diminish who you are. It simply means their path is taking a different direction, and your path continues, strong and independent. So, when we say, if someone wants to leave, let them, it's not a statement of coldness or indifference. It's a profound act of compassion, both for yourself and for the other person. For yourself, it's an act of self-preservation. Chasing someone who is pulling away drains your energy, diminishes your self-respect, and keeps you trapped in a cycle of anxiety and longing. It prevents you from being fully present in your own life and from opening yourself to new possibilities. By letting go, you reclaim your energy, your dignity, and your peace. For the other person, it's an act of respect for their autonomy and their journey. Everyone has the right to choose their own path, to seek what they believe will bring them happiness, even if that path leads them away from you. To try and force someone to stay, to manipulate or guilt-trip them, is to deny their freedom and to create a relationship built on coercion rather than genuine connection. True love, true friendship, allows for freedom. It understands that connection is a gift, not a possession. The Buddha also taught about the Four Noble Truths, and the second noble truth states that the origin of suffering is craving or attachment, tanha. When we crave a particular outcome, a particular person to stay, or a particular feeling to last forever, we set ourselves up for suffering because these things are, by their very nature, impermanent. The path to liberation, as outlined in the Fourth Noble Truth, involves understanding and letting go of these cravings. Letting go is not a passive act. It is an active practice of mindfulness and self-awareness. It requires us to observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment. When someone leaves, it's natural to feel a whirlwind of emotions: sadness, anger, confusion, fear. Instead of suppressing these feelings or letting them overwhelm us, we can practice mindfulness. We can acknowledge the pain, sit with it, and understand that these feelings too are impermanent. They will pass, just like everything else. This practice is deeply connected to metta, or loving kindness. When we practice metta, we extend unconditional kindness and compassion to ourselves and to all beings. In the context of someone leaving, this means extending loving kindness to yourself during a difficult time. Treat yourself with the same gentleness and understanding you would offer a dear friend. Acknowledge your pain, but also remind yourself of your inherent worth and resilience. It also means extending metta to the person who is leaving. This can be incredibly challenging, especially if you feel hurt or betrayed. But remember, their decision often comes from their own internal landscape, their own needs, their own journey. Wishing them well, even from a distance, is an act of profound compassion that ultimately frees you from resentment and bitterness. It allows you to close that chapter with a sense of peace, rather than lingering animosity. Another powerful Buddhist concept is upekkha, or equanimity. Equanimity is a state of mental calmness and composure, especially in difficult situations. It's about maintaining balance and inner peace amidst the ups and downs of life. When someone leaves, our equanimity is tested. We might feel our world is falling apart, but with practice, we can cultivate a steady mind that understands that while external circumstances change, our inner peace can remain undisturbed. We learn to observe the waves of emotion without being swept away by them. We recognize that while we may feel sadness, we are not defined by that sadness. So, how do we practically apply this wisdom in our lives? First, cultivate self-awareness. Pay attention to your patterns of attachment. Do you tend to define your happiness through others? Do you fear being alone? Understanding these patterns is the first step towards changing them. Journaling, meditation, and quiet reflection can be powerful tools for this. Second, practice non-attachment, not indifference. Non-attachment doesn't mean you don't care or that you become cold and distant. It means you engage with life and relationships fully, with an open heart, but without clinging. You appreciate the present moment and the connection you have, knowing that it is subject to change. It's like holding a bird gently in your hand. If you hold it too tightly, you crush it, but if you hold it too loosely, it flies away. The art is in the gentle, open hand. Third, focus on your own growth and well-being. When a relationship ends, it can feel like a void has been created. This is an opportunity to fill that void with self-care, personal development, and pursuing your own passions. Reconnect with hobbies you've neglected. Learn something new. Spend time in nature. Nurture your other relationships. Build a life that is rich and fulfilling, independent of any single person. This makes you a more complete and attractive person, not just for others, but for yourself. Fourth, understand the nature of true connection. True connection is not about possession or control. It's about mutual respect, shared values, and genuine affection that flows freely. If someone chooses to leave, it doesn't mean the connection wasn't real or valuable. It simply means its form has changed. The lessons learned, the love shared, the growth experienced, these remain with you. Fifth, practice gratitude. Even in the midst of loss, there is always something to be grateful for. Be grateful for the time you had, for the lessons learned, for the love experienced. Gratitude shifts your perspective from what is lost to what was gained, fostering a more positive and resilient mindset. Remember, letting go is a process, not a one-time event. There will be days when it feels easy, and days when the pain resurfaces. Be patient and kind with yourself. Each time you choose to release the need to control or cling, you are taking a step towards greater freedom and inner peace. You are affirming your own strength and your capacity for unconditional love, a love that doesn't demand reciprocation or permanence, but simply wishes well for all beings. This wisdom isn't just about romantic relationships. It applies to friendships, family dynamics, career paths, and even our attachment to certain ideas or outcomes. The core message remains the same. Resistance to change creates suffering. Acceptance and letting go pave the way for peace. When you truly embrace the idea that if someone wants to leave, let them, you are not giving up on love or connection. You are making space for a deeper, more authentic form of both. You are opening yourself to relationships that are built on freedom, respect, and genuine choice, rather than fear or obligation. You are trusting in the flow of life, knowing that what is meant for you will not pass you by, and what passes by was never truly yours to hold on to forever. You are a complete and beautiful being, deserving of love and respect, from yourself and from others. Your journey is unique and valuable, and it continues regardless of who walks beside you for a time. Embrace the impermanence, cultivate your inner peace, and trust in your own resilience. Thank you for joining me on this journey of reflection. If these lessons resonated with you, please consider subscribing to the channel and sharing this video with anyone who might benefit from this message. May you find peace, clarity, and boundless compassion on your path. Blessings to you all.